Do you want to learn how to easily get any 6-star item, including weapons or gear? I'm going to go over the entire blueprint conversion system. We're also going to go over multiple methods, what you should be looking out for, and how to convert these very easily, so that way you don't waste your blueprint conversions. And I'll go over all the details included there. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Okay, so first let's just jump into how the blueprint system actually works, right? So we're looking at all these different blueprints. We see all of our different blueprint sections. If you don't know how to access that, you hit I on your keyboard and then head to the blueprint page. Well, that'll showcase you all of your blueprints here. Now this is again going to be the same for both armor and weapons. However, I'm doing this with a weapon, so we're experimenting there. So first up, you're going to see these names like Beyonder, and that is kind of denoting each category for weapon. All Beyonder weapons are going to be in this same subcategory, right? So if we look in here into our enhanced section, the Jaws weapon that I do want to upgrade, we're going to see that we do have some blueprint fragments here. Now it's going to show you the total amount of fragments you see here. So you're going to have to do a little bit of math when you do calculate these out and when you do want to do a blueprint conversion. So I'm going to use an example here. It gets really hard to upgrade a weapon into certain stars after 3. So after 3, it's going to cost a ton, whereas if you see like right here with a wildfire, it's only 450 XP. However, after 3 stars, it's going to cost you quite a bit. But how we're going to do this essentially is we're going to look at what weapon we want. So again, how blueprints work is you get blueprint fragments, you should save them. So for example here, I have one for the MP5, the Blue Tiger. Now this is an operator. So what this is going to do, if we look under another operator weapon, we'll actually see this weapon in the locked section here. It can also be in the unlocked section here, meaning if you get more blueprint fragments if you've already unlocked that weapon. So you see we have quite a bit here. We have 2700 XP for the operator. We also have an additional 360 XP. So you're going to want to do some math here with both your unlocked and locked, as you can apply both of these into the enhance and use both to actually enhance the weapon. So what you want to do is find what weapon you have the most amount of XP with, at least if you get to 6 stars, or depending on how much XP you need. So for example, a legendary weapon, 80 blueprint fragments of that is going to give 2400. You'll see that here when you click into something if we have a legendary item. This one will show you that it gives 10 XP. However, if we actually do a legendary item here like Jaws, for example, we'll see that a legendary will give 30 XP per fragment. So if you have 80 of those, that's going to give you 2400. We need 6000. So before we convert this weapon, we need to find where we're going to have 6000 fragments in our conversion. You'll see that here, so we can convert, right? So let's talk about the conversion section here so that you kind of understand that. Then we'll get on to the mathing there and the other things with that. So now jumping into the next section here, we do have the weapon we want to use, which for example is the Jaws that I have at 3 stars. You'll see here that I can only convert it to gold items or legendary items. So you cannot convert up and down. If it's a purple item, it can only go under purple. If it's a blue item, it can only go in blue and green and so forth, right? So we're going to have to look for a legendary item that we can convert this into that also is in that subcategory. So next we want to select the weapon or the subcategory that we want to go into. So it could be the same one, it could be Beyonder if we have a lot of fragments there. So I'll show you how to actually determine which one you're going to want to go into. So for example, if you are at 3 stars with an item, it is pretty easy to get to 3 stars. So if you are at 3 stars already and you need that 6000 XP, you're going to want to look through all subcategories to see how much you have. Now we see here 2300 with locked being 0. So this is, we can note that down and write that down somewhere. There is like a little subcategory section here. However, these are not calculated properly. So you're going to have to go into each one and actually see what you have. You can click through, but they don't work very well. So I recommend just going into each one. So then we'll see operator, for example, we have 2700 plus 300, that's 3000. However, I already know which one I have the most of, which is Juggernaut. When you're upgrading blueprint fragments, they don't have to be in the same subcategory. They can actually just be in the category itself. Currently, we have around 5400 XP with 120 XP being locked. So I already almost have enough to actually upgrade my weapon once just by converting it to a Juggernaut weapon. So then we'll go in and we'll go into our blueprint conversion. What legendary items do I have that are Juggernaut? Well, currently I have the ACS 12 here, the Pyroclasm starter pack. And so what I'm going to do more than likely is look what I can do to get this to 6000 XP, because we want to have this number here say 6000 in total. It doesn't have the same calculation this was only with this shotgun that I had the 5400 in this total XP here. However, that you kind of have to worry about that a little bit. So you want to make sure you're looking into what you actually have, or what weapon you want to look into. You see it's 5400 here, but there is a different weapon that doesn't convert into that. You want to make sure you're looking at the exact weapon you're going to be converting into in order to achieve that XP there. So we'll see this in total 3800 for this weapon that we can actually convert to, and then we can make our moves there. Obviously we can't convert into this shotgun here, but we'll try to find another shotgun, or at least another Juggernaut weapon that can entail that, possibly this DB12. But for right now, I'm going to use this one as an example. As we see, we picked this weapon. Now we picked the weapon we want because we're seeing a total of 3,800 that we can actually go into. Use the gold weapons. You can also filter down here if you want to see. So all the legendary weapons you can kind of check. You can look at each one that you own. So we own this one, like this Wanderer. This one is going to give 2,200, 0 unlocked. Make sure you're checking that lock page. And then we can go down here. We have the Soaker. This is not going to be a lot. This is only 1,000 XP. We need to get to 6,000. So how are we going to do that? We can look through each of our collection here and see how we get to 6,000. Well, you can also buy out blueprints. So we'll go into here, we'll go into our blueprint shop, and we'll see essentially how we can actually get there, and by buying a Beyonder weapon, or in this case it's going to be a Juggernaut weapon. So what we're going to do, actually, we're just going to buy the same weapon. This is to ensure that we get the blueprint fragments just for this weapon, and they will go into this one. So we're going to be buying more blueprint fragments for this weapon in total, as it's going to give us 2,400. As we see here, we have 30 XP, right? 80 fragments is going to give us 2,400. Well, again, how do we get 80 fragments? Well, if you buy it out of the blueprint shop, these will each give you 80 fragments for that weapon. So for example, we have the shotgun. If we scroll up to here, we have the ACS-12. If I purchase this for 8,000 star crown, which I'll do right now, that's going to give us 80 fragments for that, right? So you have to have a lot of star crown to do this if you want to make the conversion, and I'll just show you the example here. So once we now have those 80 fragments, we can then go back to our blueprints here, and we can see that we have a ton here. We actually have 8,000 XP to get us even over to another level. So this is going to help us out a ton. We have 8,600 XP in total for this weapon. That's going to allow us to get our jaws up to a 4-star. As we see, we need 6,000 XP, or a little bit over. We're at 20. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert my jaws, and what you also, just to be careful, you also want to make sure you do have blueprint conversion attempts. More than likely, if you're coming in this video and you don't have any idea about conversions and you've been playing, you probably have these racked up already. In fact, I have 9 of 10 because I've never done this before, and these will automatically convert. It does say attempts, but this does automatically work. In fact, at least that's what I've heard. We'll check that now to make sure, but I've heard these always work every single time. Okay, so jumping back to the blueprint attempt screen, we're going to convert this down into a different weapon. As we said, we're going to go with the Juggernaut weapon, the ACS-12. So we're going to click on the ACS-12. We're going to convert our 3-star jaws into the ACS-12 here. We'll do this conversion, and that's going to give us a 3-star. So it automatically worked there. It does say attempts, but it is going to automatically work. Now our jaws is 1-star. However, our ACS-12 is a 3-star. You will see what's kind of cool here. Another note about this is that if I go back to my gear, I still have a 3-star jaws. So you don't have to actually lose that, or you won't actually lose that overall. You'll still have your stars on there, which is really cool. You can make multiple 6-star items with this method. That's not what we're going for. So we're going to look down here, and we're actually going to upgrade this. So now that we see this, we need 6,000 XP. We'll convert this over and easily get the 6,000 XP. We can't get over that essentially here. We can try to maybe like squeeze that in if we get something here, and then maybe we do this, but no, we have to actually, we'll get 6,020, so we'll get 20 into the next one. But actually in this case, because we see that the same name fragments will provide a 2 times XP bonus, we actually don't want to do that. So we're just going to kind of level off here, and we're going to put all 90 in here, and this is now actually going to give us 5,500. So if you calculated that in before, which is instead of it being 2,400, that would give 4,800, but in this case we have 90 fragments here. This is almost 3,000 XP, 2,700-ish, a little over 2,700. So that's going to give us a lot on there because we have the 90 fragments, and it's the same name there overall. So we're not going to need to use a lot. That's actually going to help us a ton. You can kind of cheese, or try to cheese the system to give yourself a little bit over. However, you more than likely should just use a weapon that you have that you can use and utilize there to get yourself those fragments. You can also use the locked ones here. This will give you some experience here.
and we will have 1 XP left over. Again, it doesn't really matter because we do kind of want to try to focus on the same name stuff here if you can. I would try to use the blue ones as much as you can because you're not going to be converting into those. Stay away from the purple ones and leave those at least mostly, as you won't be able to convert into those. But we're going to be using 90 here. This is going to get us into a 4-star item here. So now we'll go ahead and enhance this, and we now just upgraded our ACS 12 into 4 stars. Well, what does this mean? That means that we can convert back to Jaws, and we can get ourselves a 4-star Jaws. Now, more than likely, I'm going to convert it to another weapon so that I can get it to 5 stars and 6 stars, and you can keep repeating this method over and over again to get yourself even more. So now we see we need 8,000 XP in total in order to get ourselves all the way up there. So we want to look for another named item that we can get either out of the wish machine or into this here where we can buy another item that we already have, and that will essentially give us a double. So for example, I have the soaker, and that might be one that I'm going to probably go into if I can, because the soaker does have a decent chunk here. I think I have like around 1,000 XP, and so if I have at least another named item, because this gives so much and provides 2 times XP, that will give us, if we get another 80 fragments, that's going to give us around that 5,500, and that will allow us to get closer to that 8,000 mark. So hopefully that helps overall with the blueprint conversion. There's a lot of math stuff here. I'm going to try to put down like maybe a conversion chart, but at least you see the process there of us taking a weapon from a 3-star, finding out what our secondary weapon is going to be that we're going to convert into, then getting our math up there to around the 6,000 or 8,000 or beyond XP amount, and then we figure out that we can actually exchange that there. The methods that we can go through to buy different items, you can also go, I'm going to include a link down below to a map where you can see all the different blueprints that you can get in the new Way of Winter. So essentially I went over into here to get a new blueprint here where I did discover this mystery chest. That's going to give you some blueprints as well if you need. That's going to help out a ton too. So just different places that you can try to get up your blueprints. You can also buy out of the wish machine, which is what I did. I went through here and got this wish machine, this ACS 12, that allowed me to achieve that so I could get it up to around 6,000 in order to boost that up. Overall, that should about cover it. If you have any questions about the blueprint system, how to actually convert different things, please let me know down below. I'll try to comment as much as possible back to you guys to help you out with the system, but hopefully you see it does help a little bit better when you see someone actually convert it and exchange that there. Overall, that should about cover for today's video. If you like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuce!